Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India on alert as a cyclone is expected to hit its eastern state of West Bengal. Heavy rainfall and strong winds likely in coastal areas of India and Bangladesh. A fire kills 7 babies at a hospital in India's capital, New Delhi, after 27 die in a fire at a gaming zone in the western state of Gujarat. And leaders of China, Japan and South Korea gather in Seoul for the first trilateral talks in more than 4 years. Leaders from South Korea, China and Japan will begin their first trilateral summit since 2019 in South Korea's capital Seoul on Sunday. Chinese Premier Li Qiang and Japan's Prime Minister Kishida Fumio reached Seoul on Sunday for bilateral talks with South Korea's President Yoon Suk-yeol ahead of the three-way gathering on Monday. Chinese Premier Li Qiang and Japan's PM Kishida met with South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol at the presidential office in Seoul on Sunday. The three nations will address disputes and cooperation and adopt a joint statement on wide-ranging topics such as economy and science and technology. And staying in the Indo-Pacific, Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te has again offered talks with China on Sunday following 2 days of Chinese war games near the island, saying that he looked forward to enhancing mutual understanding and reconciliation. China, which views democratically governed Taiwan as its own territory, carried out the military drills on Thursday and Friday, saying that it was punishment. China has repeatedly lambasted Lai, saying that he is a separatist. Lai rejected Beijing's sovereignty claims and said that only Taiwan's people can decide their future. He has repeatedly offered talks but has been rebuffed. To West Asia now, about 200 aid trucks, including 4 fuel trucks, are expected to enter Gaza on Sunday. More than 1,000 metric tons of aid have been delivered to Gaza across a US-built pier. The aid transported from Cyprus is being inspected by Israel before reaching the pier. The operation is estimated to cost $320 million and involves 1,000 US service members. Ukraine's Air Force on Sunday said it destroyed 12 missiles and all 31 drones launched by Russia during its latest overnight airstrike. Russia's airstrike comes in response to Ukraine's attacks on Saturday that killed 4 people in Russia's Belgorod region. According to the region's governor, air defense units had intercepted and destroyed 29 airborne targets. North Korea's defense ministry on Sunday accused the United States and South Korea of ramping up reconnaissance activities around the inter-Korean border, warning that it will act if its sovereignty and security are violated. North Korea accused South Korea's Navy and Coast Guard of stoking military tension by stepping up patrol activities and increasingly breaching the maritime border. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un criticized propaganda leaflets sent in balloons from South Korea, calling it a dangerous provocation. He said that such activities infringe on North Korea's sovereignty and security. Now, people in the United States will be heading to vote in less than 6 months to pick their next president. It's a likely rematch between Democratic incumbent Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump. Polls suggest that it is a close race, but Trump may be fractionally ahead. A second Trump government could bring about a dramatic change on issues such as climate, immigration, and U.S. involvement in global security. Caroline Malone reports from Washington, D.C.
Donald Trump has laid out what his priorities would be if he wins a second term, including deporting migrants crossing the border illegally, which he often calls an invasion, and by militarizing the border. In response to a question in a Time magazine article about it, he said, "I think the National Guard would be able to do that. If they weren't able to, then I'd use the military."
To make America great again.
Trump still says that he won the last election, and many supporters say they believe him, a lie that led to large crowds amassing on Capitol Hill on January 6, 2021, some rioting. The former leader says he's considering pardons for people convicted over it. On foreign policy, Trump in his last presidency pushed NATO members to commit a minimum of 2% of their GDP to defence spending. 20 out of 32 nations have committed to, and are focused on supporting Ukraine in its war against Russia. But Trump has also threatened not to support NATO allies that don't meet the military alliance's spending target, and rather encourage Russia to do whatever the hell they want.
Trump has said several times that he would stop support for Ukraine on day one of his presidency. His take on Ukraine is one that happens to be very close to that of the Kremlin, which is that Ukraine is not a real country, is run by corrupt, hard-right nationalists who are not worth supporting. I don't think that is necessarily the subject of 100% consensus, even within the hard right wing of the Republican Party. But the president taking this position would have a great weight.
Trump has also called climate science into question. During his last presidency, he pulled the US out of the Paris Agreement capping carbon emissions. He's being investigated by lawmakers for requesting $1 billion in campaign funds from top oil and gas executives, who he hosted for dinner while talking about reducing tax on the energy sector.
Taking over institutions using taxpayer money to do it.
The Heritage Foundation is a Washington think tank that has created a playbook for a second Trump presidency, including replacing many civil servants with loyalists of the Republican leader. Some of Trump's allies have far-right views, including House Freedom Caucus policy chair and Texas Congressman Chip Roy, who's spoken out against government funding of the Department of Justice, as it's running 2 criminal cases against Trump on attempts to overturn the election and retaining classified documents.
$40 billion for the Department of Justice, which is continuing to carry out attacks on former President Trump and engage in lawfare to undermine all of our system of rule of law and to target the former president.
2 other cases against Trump include the ongoing New York trial in which he is charged with falsifying business records to cover up hush money payments, and in Georgia, a delayed case over his attempts to overturn the last election. How Trump acts if he gets into the White House again may also depend on how the Supreme Court rules on presidential immunity. They're due to give an opinion at the end of June. Trump has implied if he gets into power again and he's found not immune from prosecution, then he may go after his rivals. Caroline Malone in Washington for DD India.
Right, moving on, political parties in South Africa held rallies in the final weekend before the country's national and provincial elections on the 29th of May. South Africa's president and African National Congress leader Cyril Ramaphosa on Saturday promised to work more on issues such as jobs and state welfare during his campaign for the elections that could loosen his party's 30-year grip on power. Meanwhile, Julius Malema, leader of the opposition party, the Economic Freedom Fighter, addressed crowds. He promised a change as well. And now take a look at what else is making news around the world. India's top diplomat in Bangladesh inaugurated a new unit of India's pharmaceutical company Sun Pharma near Dhaka on Saturday. The High Commissioner of India to Dhaka, Pranay Verma, and Bangladesh's investment advisor Salman Fazlur Rahman jointly inaugurated the unit. The Indian High Commissioner highlighted the new investment as part of a growing economic and industrial engagement between India and Bangladesh. Activists and residents in the U.S. city of Minneapolis marked the 4th anniversary of George Floyd's death on Saturday with a street festival and memorials around George Floyd Square, where the 46-year-old black man was murdered by a police officer. U.S. rapper Nicki Minaj on Saturday cancelled a show in Manchester, England, after she said she was held by the police at the Amsterdam airport on allegations of possession of soft drugs. 41-year-old Minaj was detained hours before the show was to start. All right, let's now get you the latest on the world's largest election in India. The sixth and penultimate phase of India's parliamentary election concluded on Saturday. 60% turnout was recorded on the 58 seats across 6 states and 2 union territories. According to India's Election Commission, West Bengal recorded the highest turnout at 80.06%, followed by 63.56% in Jharkhand and 61.84% in Odisha. Many politicians and prominent personalities cast their vote on Saturday. Now, 889 candidates were in the fray. Some of the candidates who contested the election on Saturday included BJP leaders Dharmendra Pradhan from Odisha's Sambalpur, Manoj Tiwari in northeast Delhi, Menaka Gandhi from Sultanpur in Uttar Pradesh, and Manohar Lal Khattar from Karnal in Haryana. The Congress Party's candidates in the fray were Kanhaiya Kumar in northeast Delhi and Raj Babbar from Gurugram. Meanwhile, campaigning has intensified for the 7th and last phase of India's election. BJP leader and Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Sunday held a rally in Uttar Pradesh's Mirzapur and Mau. He criticized the opposition alliance's plan to make 5 prime ministers in 5 years.
अब ये सपा कांग्रेस इंडी गठबंधन ये कह रहा है कि 5 साल में 5 प्रधानमंत्री। अब बताइए भाई, ये 5 साल में 5 प्रधानमंत्री कोई रखता है क्या? जहां प्रधानमंत्री अपनी कुर्सी बचाने में ही लगा रहेगा तो वो क्या देश को मजबूत बना सकता है क्या? इसलिए देश ने तय किया कि मजबूत देश के लिए प्रधानमंत्री भी मजबूत होना चाहिए।
Senior Congress leader Rahul Gandhi addressed a public rally on Sunday in Himachal Pradesh's Nahan. During his address at the rally, Rahul Gandhi praised India's constitution as an ancient voice of the nation.
हमारे लाखों कार्यकर्ता जनता की आवाज बनकर आजादी की लड़ाई लड़े और देश के लोगों के साथ मिलकर हमारे कार्यकर्ता ने देश को यह संविधान दिया है। इस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की, संविधान की सोच हजारों साल पुरानी है। हिंदुस्तान के महापुरुषों की सोच इस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में है और यह हिंदुस्तान की, भारत की बहुत पुरानी आवाज है।
And still to come on DD India Live. A ground report from Rajkot in India's Gujarat state, where at least 27 people died in a fire at a gaming zone. And KKR eyes its 3rd title as it readies to play against SRH in the Indian Premier League final.
You have spearheaded some unprecedented conflict resolution movements across the world.
Dialogue is the only way. Unless people sit across the table, understand each other.
What's this unflinching faith in the women of India?
You know, from our mythology, if you see, all the important portfolios are all given to women.
India's way forward?
India's way forward.
What is the India way?
India is unstoppable if you keep going ahead and be part of it.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Cyclonic storm Remal that brewed over the Bay of Bengal has intensified into a severe cyclonic storm. Now, this is the first cyclone in the Bay of Bengal this pre-monsoon season. The coastal districts of West Bengal and eastern districts of Gangetic West Bengal adjacent to Bangladesh are likely to experience heavy to very heavy rainfall on Sunday and Monday. The moniker Remal, meaning sand in Arabic, was proposed by Oman. Meanwhile, a red alert has been issued for the coastal districts of South and North 24 Parganas in West Bengal for the next 2 days. An orange alert is also in place for Kolkata and parts of Odisha. The Weather Office has advised fisherfolk not to venture into the sea in the Bay of Bengal until the morning of Monday. Several flights have also been suspended because of the havoc. Flight operations at Kolkata Airport were halted for 21 hours. The Indian Coast Guard is monitoring the area where the cyclonic storm is formed. It has deployed more than 10 ships and 2 aircraft. The Indian Navy has initiated preparatory actions to mount a credible humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. The situation is being monitored at the Eastern Naval Command. Teams of India's National Disaster Response Force have been deployed in the Sundarbans of North 24 Parganas district of West Bengal. A team stationed at Hasnabad is alerting locals to stay off the coast.
एक टीम जो साइक्लोन है इसके लिए जो है यहाँ पर हसनाबाद में डिप्लॉयड है और इससे साइक्लोन से जो भी खतरा है उसको मिटिगेट करने के लिए हम पूरी तरीके से प्रिपेयर।
The India Meteorological Department has predicted that rainfall in certain states in India even as heat waves continue to raise the temperatures. Several northwestern states reel under a scorching heat, keeping the mercury well above the 40 degrees Celsius mark. Falodi in Jodhpur district recorded a blistering 50 degrees Celsius on Saturday, making it the hottest location in the state. A red warning has been issued for Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh, Delhi, Western Uttar Pradesh and Gujarat for the next 3 days. Meanwhile, Kerala, Lakshadweep and coastal Karnataka are expected to experience widespread light to moderate rainfall accompanied by thunderstorms, lightning and gusty winds. At least 27 people died after a fire broke out at a gaming zone in Gujarat on Saturday. Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel visited the accident site on Sunday morning local time. He met the victims in hospital as well. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi has announced an ex-gratia of $2,400, whereas Gujarat government announced a $5,000 compensation each for the families of the deceased and $600 each for the injured. A special investigation team has since been set up to find out the cause of the fire. The Gujarat High Court has taken suo motu cognizance of the fire tragedy. The suo motu petition will be heard on Monday. And Meghna Dev sent us this report from Rajkot.
This is the aftermath of the tragic fire incident that took place in Rajkot. The firefighters did have a hard time. It took them about 3 to 4 hours to douse the fire. This structure, a temporary for that matter, did collapse while this caught fire. A number of people trapped and charred to death. What the nearby residents tell us and what the preliminary information tells us, that there was no fire NOC that this place had. The question arises, how did this place run without a fire NOC? Did this place not have fire extinguishers? And also, when we actually see this place, there are a lot of thermocol present here, which actually shows that how quickly the fire would have spread. The people could not get any chance to escape. Very importantly, now the administration is trying to ascertain, and SIT has been formed, an investigation is underway. Yuvraj Singh Solanki, the owner of this TRP game zone, has been taken for interrogation. The manager has also been taken for interrogation, and a few more people have also been taken into custody and are being interrogated in this matter. What we also get to know is that the Chief Minister visited this place early in the morning, and he also visited the people who are taking treatment at nearby hospitals. With camera person Lakshman Rajput, this is Meghna Dev, 4TT India from Rajkot.
A fire broke out at a children's hospital at Vivek Vihar in India's capital, New Delhi, killing at least 7 newborn babies. According to the fire department, exploding gas cylinders caused the fire. 9 fire tenders were rushed to the site. The Lieutenant General of Delhi, Vinay Kumar Saxena, has asked the Chief Secretary to institute an inquiry. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has announced an ex gratia of $2,400 from the Prime Minister's National Relief Fund that would be given to the next of kin of the deceased. And Prime Minister Modi took to X and expressed grief over the incident. He said, and I quote, "The fire tragedy at a hospital in Delhi is heart-rending. My thoughts are with the bereaved families in this incredibly difficult time. I pray that those injured recover at the earliest," unquote. President Draupadi Murmu and Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar have also condoled the deaths. The 7th edition of a biennial joint military exercise codenamed Shakti between India and France ended on Sunday in the northeastern Indian state of Meghalaya. The Indian contingent comprised 90 personnel of the Rajput Battalion. The French contingent was represented by personnel from the 13th Foreign Legion Half Brigade. The exercise aims to enhance joint military capability of the two nations. It focused on operations in the semi-urban and mountainous terrains. In a historic win for India, Payal Kapadia's All We Imagine as Light bagged the Grand Prix, the second highest award at the Cannes Film Festival on Saturday. The film is based on the story of 2 Kerala nurses living in contemporary Mumbai. It was the first film from India in 30 years to compete in the main competition at Cannes. It stars Kani Kushruthi, Divya Prabha and Chaya Kadam. The only Indian film to ever win the Palme d'Or, which went by another name at the time, is Chetan Anand's Neecha Nagar in 1946. Mrinal Sen's domestic health drama Courage won the jury prize in 1983. And after her grand win at Cannes, Payal Kapadia spoke about how she believes the filmmaking space is seeing more work from women filmmakers and how it's a gradual but necessary change.
It's wonderful that there are more films being made by female filmmakers, female technicians, female cinematographers, sound recordists. We need many more, but the change is happening and gradually but surely. And I think it only makes things more inclusive. And I hope that that we could have more films from female filmmakers in Cannes.
And it's showtime. The final of the Indian Premier League will be played on Sunday. Teams who finished in the top 2 in the league stages are set to clash in the IPL final at Chennai's M.A. Chidambaram Stadium. KKR is eyeing its 3rd IPL title after winning it twice in 2012 and 2014, while SRH is looking for its 2nd championship after 2016.
After over 2 months and 73 matches of exciting cricket, the Indian Premier League 2024 season has reached its finale, with Sunrisers Hyderabad and Kolkata Knight Riders setting up the marquee clash for the IPL trophy. Kolkata Knight Riders, reckoning force. Under the leadership of head coach Chandrakant Pandit, mentor Gautam Gambhir and captain Shreyas Iyer, Kolkata's road to the IPL 2024 final could not have been more successful. The two-time former champions had a dream start to their IPL 2024 campaign. Their major highlight this season was their fiery opening duo of Sunil Narine and Phil Salt, who made a mockery out of every bowling unit they faced. The likes of Sunil Narine, Andre Russell and Varun Chakravarti have all been in scintillating form in the competition, while the resurgence from Stark and Shreyas Iyer has made them clear favourites on paper before they take the field for the summit clash. They finished the league stage as table toppers with 20 points in their bag and a record-breaking net run rate of plus 1.428. Sunrisers Hyderabad, record breakers. On the other hand, the 2016 runners-up set the tone for jaw-dropping score lines that were witnessed this season. The Orange Army in this season have blown away opposition by setting targets that were out of reach for the opposition before their innings started. They first made a mockery of five-time champions Mumbai Indians, breaking the then highest IPL total, smashing 277 runs, and then made a mayhem of RCB bowling attack, breaking their own highest score record by scoring 287. They did lose the plot in the middle of the competition, but Cummins and company showed no mercy to the opposition despite the setback, with Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma setting the stage on fire more often than not. In this season, Hyderabad have lost both their encounters against Kolkata, and once again KKR are favourites on paper. But anything can happen on a grand stage like final, and it would be interesting to see whether Hyderabad can turn the tide or Kolkata lifts their third IPL trophy. Sports Desk, DD India.
And in badminton, two-time Olympic medalist India's PV Sindhu lost to Wang Zhiyi of China 21-16, 5-21, 16-21 in the Malaysia Masters final on Sunday. It was Sindhu's first final in almost 2 years, and a Chinese world number 7 did not make it easy. In a match that lasted an hour and 19 minutes, Wang Zhiyi made a spectacular comeback from trailing 11-3 in the final game to win the match with a 16-21 scoreline. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of DD India Live. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code on the screen now to download it. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and Instagram. You can also check out our website ddindia.co.in. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. and Ramesh Ramachandran. All of us here in New Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.